Welcome to Little Italia in ever beautiful I Love New York. This is a look at Mulberry Street and Hester Street. And today is a rather special day, probably the most special day on the calendar to be here. That would make it September 19th. And it is the Feast of San Gennaro. And why September 19th would be the special day is that is the day that the patron saint of Naples, Italia is recognized. It is actually on this day that the most holy of celebration for Naples would be taking place. So it looks rather quiet, you might be wondering, especially if you've been to the San Gennaro festival of ever beautiful I Love New York. Well, this is a look during a global pandemic, but restaurants in New York are still opened for outdoor dining. You can see they have the plastic walls up, set up in these makeshift outdoor restaurants. So that aspect of the festival can still take place. What we're not seeing is the amusement park rides. I have not even been able to find myself any fried Oreo ice cream. I'll tell you about that in a second. It brings me to my story of meeting Fran and Kelly Cisco. That happened right here at the Feast of San Gennaro in let me see, 2017, and it was immortalized on film for the film Happy Trans Girl Like Me, which played at multiple festivals around the world. May have even happened right here at Mulberry and Grand Street. And while we were enjoying the San Gennaro Festival and filming for the movie, Fran brought us some fried Oreo ice cream. Yes, it was something that I will never forget, and thank you very much for that. And pleasure to still have you as a part of the joy in my life, Fran and Kelly Cisco. Now, this is where I would often start to see the food aspect of the Feast of San Gennaro turn into some of the street vendors. And what I'm seeing this year is that the individual shops, similar to the restaurants, are setting up tables in front of their own location. So often you can come and find interesting gems, sunglasses, Feast of San Gennaro t-shirts. A lot of that stuff is not out this year because we're not seeing the street vendors that would be set up along Mulberry Street, but it doesn't mean that there's nothing to experience, as the street is lined with the flags of Italia. And one of the things I love about New York is being able to see iconic buildings right ahead. I know the sign is backwards, but I'll show it to you. Forward, beautiful night to be out in New York City. And there is the poster of San Gennaro, flag of Italia, and more posters on the balconies. Oh, San Gennaro, San Gennaro, San Gennaro. September 19th is the date, and that is the day that we are walking down the block. Now, if you're thinking about not coming because of crowded spaces, there's definitely some open locations here for you to enjoy the Feast of San Gennaro in ever beautiful I Love New York. Curbside dining. No indoor dining, though. Not this year. And it is an outdoor street event, to say the least. Now we're at Broome Street, and I'll give you that turnaround look so we can see this properly. Welcome to Little Italy. Till next time, happy San Gennaro Festival from Mulberry Street in ever beautiful I Love New York.